Hello again and welcome to DanWhiteBooks, the book review channel where we add insight into the worlds of literature, both for those who do read and those who don't. It's the end of the year. I'm closing in on 30 books that I've read now, some fantastic, some plain average, and others slightly disappointing. It's been a long year, I'm sure we're all aware. I feel no one has been able to escape the darker times we've all faced, whether alone, in others, or just when looking at the present and still ongoing state of the world. I'd like today to focus on something more positive and go through 10 of the books that have certainly brought me much joy this year, and hopefully in the next they can find you just the same. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. So let's start with number 10 on the countdown. These are books that will range in their date of publication, however they are books that have most impacted me this year. At number 10 we have Murakami's Kafka on the Shore. Now this is an old book to have on this list, considering I only scored it a 7 out of 10. But it is a book that has stayed with me. Despite the low ratings to other books on the list, Murakami's writing and mysticism has never left me. There is something strange yet deeply enjoyable about the fictional world he creates, and despite my dislike for the ending, I must admit that the journey was something quite incredible, and most certainly one I will be returning to. I look forward to exploring more of his works next year. At number 9 we have the non-fiction book The Universe in Your Hand by Christopher Galford, a book that delves into the origins of many great physics questions and takes the reader on an epic journey through space and time. This book is particularly enduring due to the light-hearted tone and absolutely mind-bending, albeit simplified, explanations of physics, both on a quantum and theoretical level. The book beautifully explains complex topics in a narrative-based manner and is sure to leave you speechless in certain sections, particularly if you have a weak understanding of physics like myself. Galford creates an often humorous yet awe-inspiring tale of the universe as we currently know, ever changing the way you picture the night sky and of your own significance in the world and far greater beyond. At number 8 we have a book I've not long reviewed on this channel, Recursion by Blake Crouch. Despite a slow start, this book kicks into gear and delivers a moving tale about fate, memory and love. It is a modern science fiction book that may lack the depth of older works, but it still raises important questions about human nature, particularly regarding technologies far beyond our own and the implications of immensely powerful machines falling into the wrong hands. The final third of this book is in parts upsetting, this being partly in its portrayal of the two main characters who face what appears to be an unwinnable scenario. The heartbreak comes as we watch them give everything in the hope of fixing a broken world, and in how their life is torn apart time and time again through such chaotic and dramatic circumstances. I would certainly recommend this book to science fiction fans. At number 7 we have The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini, which is, to put plainly, a bloody good story. It has everything you'd want in a great book. Amazing character development, a solid plot. It's a deeply emotional piece that conveys its message of redemption beautifully. I would always forewarn that this book is no fairy tale and speaks of the darker tones in reality, however it does so in a manner that is moving and memorable. The world and culture was very alien to me, but I loved learning about it through the eyes of the main character and particularly enjoyed the ending, even if it did not make for easy reading. It just felt real, and that's quite sad, but I do enjoy a tale that does not pander to happiness at its close for the sole purpose of just pleasing its reader. At number 6 we have another non-fiction work, The Little Book of Stoicism by Jonas Salzgeber. The book is a fantastic introduction into the philosophy of Stoicism. I don't have much time to explain it here, but I will say that Stoicism teaches you that you are not in control of every aspect in your life, and that you must accept certain scenarios and outcomes even if you have given your best efforts. The book details how we can only aim an arrow at a target. Once said arrow is in motion, we must then accept that it is now with forces beyond our control. In that sense, you must always try your best and accept results no matter what the outcome, because if you gave your best, no greater option would have been possible. It's very much about surrendering the control you think you have and thus living a more happier life, without unnecessary worry and regret. Certainly another eye-opener. At number 5, we have Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes, a highly popular book that is indeed a classic in the sci-fi genre. Daniel Keyes creates an incredibly emotional tale through the use of central character Charlie Gordon and his quest to be normal. Charlie, who has an extremely low intelligence at the start of this book, is gifted with a procedure that makes him into a genius. With such a transformation, Charlie discovers all the memories that made him who he was and struggles to deal with the flood of new emotions he's feeling for the world around him. It is a remarkable tale that grinds right down to the core essence of what it is to be human and how the world treats those who can be easily manipulated or exploited. At number 4, we have Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, a book that is bizarre yet masterful in its storytelling and its implementation of a non-linear based narrative. I've often thought about this book since my first reading, and as such, I've come to like it more and more. The concept raised in the book that life is fixed and unchangeable opens many questions. This, paired with the deadpan style, expert use of subtle humour, and general go-with-the-flow attitude of its main character Billy Pilgrim, makes for a memorable piece of writing that ever grows on you and begs the question of whether free will is but an illusion. So it goes. At number 3, we have Island by Aldous Huxley. Had this been 2019, I'm certain Brave New World by Aldous Huxley would have topped my list. Island takes Brave New World and offers up not a dystopia but a utopia named Pala. Pala puts the individual at the forefront and focuses on alleviating and fixing issues before they become untreatable. Pala preaches that we should pay particular attention to the inner self of a person and takes a holistic approach in learning. It focuses heavily on metaphysics and holds a harsh but necessary mirror to the over-consuming societies of the world, and serves to be an eye-opener on how happiness and fulfillment are not found in quick fixes and material wealth, that is despite nearly every modern society senselessly pursuing so. It asks the reader to simply pay attention and address the cracks around us, or them, before they indeed shatter. At number 2, we have Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. This is less a book you read and more a book you study, for the knowledge in these pages is both harrowing yet exceptional. Page after page is a joy, if not sometimes a horror, at least in fully understanding how flawed our brains are to bias and prediction, as well as statistics. What makes this book so good is that it is not only a brilliant educational piece, but it's written in a manner that flows and is so engaging. Non-fiction books will often struggle in this regard. However, Thinking Fast and Slow does not face such difficulties, and for those particularly interested in cognitive bias and the psychology of decision making, you really can't find a better introduction. You will likely learn more in the pages of this book than you could from a year-long classroom course, and that is a credit to the author and Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman, who packs this book full of knowledge and real-world examples. I would with little doubt describe this as one of the best non-fiction books I have ever read, at least so far, and you can expect a full review on this one in the coming year. And finally, we have number 1. Perhaps not as well constructed as other books on this list, but nonetheless a book that has greatly impacted me this year, and in some ways saddened me by reflection of my older behaviours. The Courage to be Disliked by Iriko Kishimi, I hope I pronounced that right there, as a book details Adlerian psychology and its indifference to other psychological theories produced by the greats such as Sigmund Freud. It is a masterfully crafted debate between a student and a philosopher, and will offer you a new way of thinking and a completely new understanding of trauma psychology and exactly why people behave in the ways they do. It is a lot to unpack and is certainly a book I will be returning to over the next year. This book really symbolises the personal element to this list. To me, it was somewhat of a lifesaver and offered a shining beacon to what was otherwise a very dark and bleak reality. A great book will do that, and this was one that certainly has a very special place in my heart. My friends, thank you very much for watching. That is my top 10 books of the year. Now all that's left is to wish you a happy new year for next year. Have a great Christmas, have a great holiday, have a great everything. I will see you again here, maybe this year, likely going to be next year now, where we'll be doing more book reviews and discussion. and all sorts of other things. Thank you very much for watching. Please keep safe out there, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.